Pod.
Welcome into hour two. All right, boys, let's talk a little Packers offense, little week one preview, if you will. And I hope you guys can see this. We can zoom in and out. Hopefully, it'll be all right. But so, what I thought it would be important to do is look at what we're going to be in the majority of the day 11 personnel, three wide receiver sets against the Lions nickel. Okay. So, when you look at our PFF standpoint here, keep in mind they've got Wicks as the Z here on PFF. I think that's going to be Matthew Golden. So, whatever you think Matthew Golden is going to grade out at, hey, fire away. But I think this is going to be Matthew Golden here in the Z. I think Reed will be healthy. It sounds like he was good to go today. Again, in practice, he'll be in the slot or the F in Matt LaFleur's offense, and Romeo Dobbs will be your boundary X. You'll be looking to rotate Wicks into Dobbs's spot and Reed's spot all day long. Now, he can play Z as well, but I could also see them maybe mixing and matching a little bit and doing a stack look of Jaden Reed stacked either in front of or behind Matthew Golden on the same side of the field. And when they do that, maybe you run weak side. If you go to a tray set with that stack look, you run weak side, and imagine Malik Heath giving Romeo Dobbs a breather at X out there blocking on the boundary for your run game. So when you look at the PFF grades from left to right, let's start on the offensive line. Rasheed Walker projected to be the starting left tackle, 68.7. Left guard, Aaron Banks, 65.4. Elton Jenkins, your center, 65.7. Expect that grade to go up significantly, okay? Because as a center, I think you're going to see him grading out consistently in the 70s. I'd be very surprised if he stays in the 60s here, according to PFF. We got Sean Ryan as the starting right guard right now at 61.3. I personally think that'll be Jordan Morgan, or there'll at least be a 50-50 snap, a rep split there for Morgan and Ryan like last year. Keep those guys fresh. And then, of course, Zach Tom at 85.8. I love the fact that, now listen, they can move Aiden Hutchinson around, who graded out as the best edge defender before he got hurt last year to 94.9. I love the fact that in his predominant alignment, Tim, on that left side, left defensive end over the right tackle, you got our boy Zach Tom out there ready to take care of business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Rasheed's no stranger to him either. So even if they flip things around, I don't think anyone's going to be blindsided. We also have to remember that, Hutchinson's a monster, but he's also coming off injury too, right?
Bingo.
So, feel how you want to feel about that. I'm sure Lions fans have something to say about that, but at the end of the day, you feel good about these matchups. My only question would be, going back to the top of the show, if in fact Elton Jenkins doesn't go week one and we got to kick Sean Ryan to center, I would assume that means Jordan Morgan to right guard. But if Aaron Banks is not a go, also where
Jordan Morgan to left guard.
Jordan Morgan to left guard, who goes to right guard, right? Mm-hmm. Do we slide Zach Tom over there and put Big Escalade at right tackle? I mean, what do you do with that line?
That's a great question. Let's take a look at the depth chart here according to our lads, see if I can give you an answer. So you're saying, what if Elton Jenkins cannot play week one, right? That's what you're saying.
Sean Ryan's the center, then Jordan Morgan the right guard, and then if there's any issue with Aaron Banks and his torso or back or whatever's going on with him, who do you move to the left guard?
Yeah, so the scenario you're laying out is we're missing both Elton Jenkins and Aaron Banks. I just want to make sure I understand the question.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. If that's the case, looking at the depth chart here, I personally think what you'll have top priority is Sean Ryan playing center, period, case closed. Okay. So he'll be at center. You'll kick Jordan Morgan over to left guard. And now it comes down to who plays right guard, Donovan Jennings, Darian Kennard, or Anthony Belton at right guard. I would not move Zach Tom to right guard and put Belton at right tackle, me personally. So I think, Jacob, I want to get your take on it. To me, it would be Darian Kennard playing right guard. And maybe that's what they were foreshadowing is, hey, look, we need an extra body on the inside here. And let's go get Darian Kennard from the Eagles, who, I mean, listen, I know he hasn't played much. That guy's got 3 rings. He's been in a championship room, Jacob.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say Darian Kennard, if only for the fact that, we traded for him. So obviously we saw that there was something worth there, giving up any kind of capital for him. Ed Madden agrees. He said Kennard. To me, that just makes more sense. I really hope that's not a situation that we even have to entertain. Right. Getting to that point. I think that Banks has looked pretty decent. I am impressed with Sean Ryan because I know just from where he's been in the last 3 years, even me myself, I was ready to write him off. I did not even want to hear Sean Ryan talk whatsoever. There he is. Nacho Libre himself has kind of definitely made a name for himself. And I think that if he does get an opportunity here, he should make the most of it. And it's just nice to have this kind of backup. We talked earlier about the edge rotation. The rotation in this offensive line room is pretty awesome too, just to be able to have certain points. And obviously, we've talked about Belton and Morgan and how maybe we're not getting our ROI isn't quite where we'd want it to be right now for being a first and second round pick, but look at how they've already helped this team in certain scenarios. If we have to pull that trigger, it's a good problem to have once again.
I completely agree. All right, so there's a look at the offensive line against their defensive front. Davenport 53.1, Williams, who hasn't played a whole lot of football, didn't even have a grade last year, Reeder at a 66.5, and then Hutchinson 94.9. There's no doubt about it, guys. The Tuesday player on this roster, tier 1 of importance, left defensive end, edge. He moves around a lot. That's Aiden Hutchinson. You got to build the game plan around neutralizing him, and this is why I feel really good about this matchup now. Not that it's a slam dunk win. I think it's going to come down to literally, it might be the last team to have the ball last, to be honest with you. It's going to be one of those type of games. But they're weak at defensive tackle right now because of injuries. So moving along let's look at the weaponry here, okay? Let's focus on wide receivers and tight ends against linebackers and DBs. Listen, they've got a hell of a secondary here. Kirby Joseph, the top graded safety, 90.7. Brian Branch, 83.7. Sometimes he kicks into the nickel, although they're projecting Robertson being the nickel at a 63.3. You got Reed on the outside at a 70.7, and then Terry and Arnold at 50.8. I want to say Arnold's hurt. Is he not hurt? Am I thinking right? Or I may be crossed up there. There was somebody. It was Rakestraw, wasn't it, Tim, that got banged?
Yeah, it was Rakestraw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Terry and Arnold just a little underwhelming going into year 2, But don't sleep on him, PFF grade isn't everything, right?
Yeah. And then when you look at the stack backers, of course, they got Jack Campbell, 78.7. He's a solid linebacker. I mean, that dude is a stud. Yeah. He's a good linebacker. Anzalone, he's another hybrid, right? He'll play stack backer in certain sets, and he'll line up on the edge as well. He'll play a little Sam if you go to your base 4-3, or if I don't know, maybe they play a hybrid 34. Let's see what their base is. No, it's a 4-3. So, yeah, when they go to their 4-3, they still got Anzalone playing stack. They got him in the wheel. I personally think he's more of a Sam, and then Barnes would come in that regard. But going back to the nickel here, really, man, they got a strong defense. The secondary, the safety room is stout. The thing they're missing is the defensive tackle in the middle. That's the only thing they're really missing. So when it comes to our wide
receivers, football on Sunday, run the ball.
Absolutely, man. Because look at Josh Jacobs back here at 92.3. Let's go, dude.
Let's run them at Davenport and Reeder all day long.
Yeah. What do you think, Jacob, when you look at this, man? What sticks out to you here when you talk about these matchups, man? What grabs your attention the most looking at our 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver set against their nickel?
I mean, honestly, I think, like Tim said, I'd like to run the ball, run it down their throats a little bit. I think that Hutchinson's going to be a little, I don't say skittish, but maybe a little nimble. I saw a comment from, I can't remember who it was exactly, but saying, hey, I want to see Kraft kind of making some cut blocks. And he said, Hutchinson make a business decision, kind of get in his head, make him test that right away. I don't know if Tuck's that kind of guy, as we saw him taking some cheap shots from Kirby Joseph over the last couple seasons. I know they've built up quite a little rivalry right there, but I look at the cornerback depth there. It is a little tempting to kind of let Love maybe pound that or float the rock a little bit, you know what I mean? And see maybe if Matthew Golden can make some of these cornerbacks look like absolute fools, tripping over themselves. It's fun to think that we have so many avenues of attack now. And, it's I'd like to see Tuck Norris get involved in the game, and whether that's in the run game or the passing game. I really think that he's a little bit people don't give him enough credit for what he does in the run game. I think he's willing to put his nose in there and be a really good blocker. So yeah, let's use Josh Jacobs. And wasn't he needing like 130 yards or something like that to become the 3rd fastest player in NFL history to 7,000 yards? I believe was the stat.
Yeah, I think
so let's do that, man. Let's do that. All right, I got to hop off, guys. It's the PTA draft, but I just will say, for having almost 400 people on YouTube, we only got like 80 likes. So let's hit that like, share, subscrib, go Pack Go. I'll see y'all
being
later.
The bad guy on the way out. I love it, man. Appreciate
you. The commissioner.
I'll be the bad guy.
See you, buddy.
I'm with Jacob there on that comment. You look at the Lions, you got the coverage chart up here. They want to run that cover 1 man. You want to press into man. Let's put Matthew Golden lined up 1-on-1 across from Terry and Arnold, and just watch the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah. And remember what Matthew Golden did so well in college. The thing that stood up on tape. Now he does a lot of things good, don't get me wrong. And he's got that blazing 4.2 speed. But what he done really well was working the curl and the hitch, right? The comeback routes. So if you're in a cover one man, as the chart's saying here, Tim, for everybody on the podcast, the Lions led the league in cover one man coverage last year at 37%. Okay. So they were in cover one man 37% of the time. Their second most run coverage was cover three, which is still middle field close, single high safety, same exact look. You want to know what the weak spot is on both of those defenses, both the cover three and cover one man? It's literally pressing downfield and working back to the sideline.
Yep.
That's how you do it. Because what the technique typically that a corner is taught to play with in a cover one man is funnel everything deep center field. So you protect the sideline deep. And as you're protecting the sideline deep and Matthew Golden stretches you with that speed and then chops it down, you're talking about, anywhere from 8 to 16-yard comeback routes all day long. Now, listen, they know we're going to try to attack that way. They know we've got this information. So they may change things up. They may disguise it like a cover one man and end up playing some kind of cover three hard flat and be sitting on that curl flat area there to take away those comebacks and curls. But that's where the choice routes come in. And I like what Jacob said, and I love that you pointed it out too, Tim.
Yeah, they're leaning hard on that secondary, right? You got Branch and you've got Kirby Joseph back there. Certainly it allows them to play those kind of coverages when you can, trust your safety play on the back end like that, but it still puts a lot of pressure on the back end for sure. And we have the offense that is equipped to attack that. If they want to sit in that, I say let Jay Money turn it loose on them,
Yeah. And when you try to break this down in terms of where teams were ranked in EPA per drop back, right? They've got this was through the divisional round when I grabbed this. This was the latest in the season I could find it. And they got them kind of reshuffled. So we'll kind of suffer through here. The best defense in the league in terms of EPA per drop back was the Denver Broncos at minus 0.04. Okay. Second place was the Vikings at minus 0.03. And then you've got 4 teams tied for third place at minus 0.02, the Packers being one of those teams. Okay. And now as you go on down here, next would be the Detroit Lions at a positive 0.02, tied with like 3 other teams like the Dolphins and the Bears. So we had a better pass defense in terms of EPA per drop back than the Detroit Lions did last year. So just keep that in mind. All right. And again, they don't have those studs in the middle now at defensive tackle with them being banged up. And the other thing with Aiden Hutchinson, if you talk to Lions fans, and I've talked to a lot of them, they will tell you, Tim, Aiden Hutchinson is 100%. He's good to go. There'll be no restrictions, right? I don't know how you can say that until you play a game in the regular season. Because, dude, his leg looked like Linguini. It was completely shattered, wrapped around another human being's leg in that game. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to watch in terms of football.
That was up there with the Joe Theismann injury.
The first thing it made me think of was I was like, I wish I wasn't watching this game. It was absolutely horrible. And in no way, shape, or form are we wishing ill will on another player. I don't care how much we hate the rivals or we hate the fan base. I don't want to see any player get hurt, period. There's no – I will say this, though. What Jacob just said about Tucker Kraft and Kirby Joseph is one of, if not the dirtiest players in the entire league. If they can play like that, we can play like that too. It's fair game. So if anybody
can shoot low without being dirty too, right? There's a way to cut block without necessarily being a dirt bag, right?
Listen, I don't want penalties. I could care less about anybody else's, whatever. Listen, it's their job to protect themselves, period. So for me personally, play within the rule set, but don't you dare go, Hutch had a leg injury last year. We better not try to go low on. Nah, hell with that. Kirby Joseph ain't going to give you that.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
I promise you, Kirby Joseph ain't going to be going, you know what? His knee's banged up. That ain't going to be happening. So play within the rules. Don't play dirty. Be aggressive. And don't you dare shy away from cutting Hutchinson.
And remember, an Aiden Hutchinson, at 80% is still better than 80% of guys at his position in the league. So we have to take that into consideration too.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button, hit subscribe. If you're new here, welcome into PTA. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. Make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. We go live multiple times daily, typically. We appreciate y'all making us a part of your evening festivities here. William Herman said in 2 years, Brian Gutekunst has added Micah Parsons, Xavier McKinney, Edgerrin Cooper, Josh Jacobs, Matthew Golden, Evan Williams, Nate Hobbs, Javon Buller, Tyron Hopper, Aaron Banks, and Anthony Belton. Is there any GM doing it better right now? The only thing he's missing is that ring, William. That's it, man. Got to get him that ring. Because until he gets that ring, no one will see him in the same stratosphere as the Eagles GM or any of the Rams GM, those guys that have rings on the finger. That's what it all comes down to.
Same thing with our head coach, too. Nobody's going to put any spec on Matt LaFleur's name until he brings a Lombardi home, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so the rest of the offense here, Tim. Jordan Love, obviously a 75.8, battled the knee injury last year. We talked about it pretty extensively this offseason. You've seen the 2022 minimal snaps, 78.7. 2023, absolutely dominated at 83.6, was the best quarterback in the last 9 games of the season. Just went, absolutely off. In 2024, battling the injuries, drops to a 75.8. Still had a good year, in my opinion. I think you're going to see a healthier Jordan Love, one that's willing to scramble, something we did not have against Detroit in both games last year, and someone who can also not shy away from a little bit of contact, trying to protect that knee with the brace and everything else. So Jordan Love is going to be the key to this game, in my opinion, Tim. Anytime you come down to a one-score game, it's going to come down to turnover differential and how well your quarterback protects the football, man. If he does that, if we win the turnover differential by a +1, just a +1, I think we win this ball game. I don't see any scenario where we win the turnover differential and lose this ball game. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I think at this point in his career, I think Jordan understands how to protect the ball. I think we saw enough late over the middle. We saw enough, letting balls sail on you here and there, or taking shots that end up getting picked. I think he's at a point now where he has a full grasp of what Matt LaFleur expects out of this offense, timing and rhythm. And I think Jordan's at a point where he's going to take calculated risks. He's not going to ever put that ball in too dangerous of a spot. So I think you're right. I think if we protect the football, win that turnover differential, we're going to win the game for sure.
Yeah. Jen Wright in the chat says, you think they won't be aiming for Jordan's thumb? Oh, they will, man.
Oh, for sure.
They'll be smacking at that ball all night long, trying to re-injure that thumb for sure. So be careful what you wish for, though, right? If they do smack that thumb, they might get a little steaming Willie Beeman coming in off the bench. You know what I'm saying? So
either that, or it might put another chip on Jay Money's shoulder, right? Some guys really respond to that, right? You might tweak that thumb again, and might just piss him off enough to lock in even more, right? Light you up,
or piss this guy off right here.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, you see, this was what put the Honey Badger in retirement. This player right here. So,
yep.
Josh Jacobs is going to be the key to this game, man. Protecting the football and then just run the rock, control it. Here's the other thing too. We broke this down last night, and it was in the summary. We'll bounce back real quick. We can always come back to it. You'll notice here in the summary, it always resets on me. Where's it at? Turnover worthy play percentage. Everybody talks about Jordan was reckless with the football last year. Jared Goff actually had a slightly higher turnover worthy play percentage at 3.25% last year. So I think that if Micah Parsons is out there, like you said, Tim, if it's just 15 snaps, if he's able to play 30 and they get pressure on Jared Goff in that pocket, man, he's a pretty good quarterback under pressure, in my opinion. 74.9 passer rating under pressure isn't bad. Clean pocket, though, 120.3, right? When he's got a clean pocket, he's as good as anybody in the league. Yep. So you've got to compress that pocket, and you got to make sure that you control the run along the way. And you see here with PFF, the market, first of all, has the market changed at all? It does not look like it has. So the market still has the Packers as 2.5-point favorites right now. And I was trying to see if they've got the money or not. The spread, here we go. Value, break even, market projection. So yeah, do they have the money coming in yet? Usually they get the money, and they must not have it yet unless I'm overlooking it. I wanted to see where the public was at in that regard. But nonetheless, man, it's going to come down. It's going to be a pick-em game. It really is. I mean, you look at the average offensive snaps last year. Detroit had the ball pretty much a little over about 3.5 more snaps than the Packers on offense. That's pretty well a push. EPA per run. Their run game, I feel like, Tim, it is very underrated. You know, they got a couple good backs. They run the ball well.
Yeah,
We
Jameer
stopped
Gibbs
Will-
is no joke, man. You cannot
Yeah.
afford to take that dude for granted.
Listen, this team as a whole,
Yep.
they've done a hell of a job building this Detroit Lions team.
Yep.
And listen, as much as I hate the fair weather Lions fans that all of a sudden have come out of the woodwork and act like they've always been here, it cracks me up. I always like to remind them at the end of Dan Campbell's first season as your head coach, you were dead last in ticket sales. You need to know that. And that's
Give
not
away tickets to a game. Yeah.
and it's not because your stadium might not be bigger than others. No, we're talking about percentage of tickets. You were dead last. So spare me the whole, we're the most loyal fan, but you guys didn't come out of the damn woodworks until Dan Campbell started winning. And I tip my cap to Dan Campbell. I think he's a great head coach. But we're going to find out now. Can Dan Campbell do it without Ben Johnson? Can he do it without Aaron Glenn? We may come out of Sunday, Tim, and go, Dan Campbell's a real deal. But I think he's got his work cut out for him. He's going on the road, nationally televised game. I mean, the whole country's going to be watching this game with Jim Nance and Tony Romo calling the game, right? And he's now got a new OC, a new DC, right? Your defensive tackles are banged up. We'll see if Aiden Hutchinson is the same player. There's a lot of things that have changed since last year, you know. Now, and I know they beat us without Aiden Hutchinson. I got you. And kudos to them. Tip your cap. But there's a lot of things that's changed since last season, man.
For sure. This ain't the same Packers team, and it's not the same Lions team as last year. So I'm ready to see them line it up on Sunday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. All right. So if we go to base look real quick, our 12 personnel against their base 4-3, Barnes is showing kind of minimal snaps. Yeah, he didn't play hardly any at all last year. He played in the first 3 weeks of the season. It tapered off. That's Derek Barnes as they're showing as their Sam over here, according to PFF. So you see a 71.8 and think, man, that's pretty solid, right? Well, it was minimal snaps. I mean, how many snaps did he have? Does it show the snap total there? Roughly 63, 77. So, yeah, you had right at about 100 snaps, a little less than 100, I believe. Okay, so his PFF grades by career, though, starting in 2021, a 30.1, 62.3, 60.7. So that 71.8 on minimal snaps is kind of the outlier there. So if you do press into 12 personnel, if the receivers are still a little banged up, it's going to be Musgrave coming on the field, which we would all agree he's been been bitten by the injury bug a bit. But look at his rookie year, 68.1. So if you can get back to some consistency and keep him healthy, if he gets back to that 68.1, you really like your chances there. And then you mix in John Fitzpatrick, your third string tight end in the run game. I kind of like our 12 personnel running the rock against their base 4-3 here.
I do too. And Musgrave's poised for a comeback year, right? You know, he got banged up last year, a little inconsistent, but showed a lot of flashes his rookie year. We've seen this. You talk about precedents. We always talk about, is there precedents? You see it all the time in the NFL. Great rookie year, sophomore slump, year 3, boom, back where you need to be. So I agree with that 100%. I think if Musgrave even just gets back to, you know, even close to where he was as a rookie, by the time this season's over with, we're going to be having nothing but praise for Luke Musgrave, a.k.a. the baby deer, right?
Yeah. For sure, man. Let's see what the chat's saying here. If we got anything, we got all kinds of comments, man. Let's see. 2-0 for this is worried. He says BC and Musgrave on the field. Hey, listen, man. When he's had good games, he's been solid, right? But again, It's like you said, the baby deer. It's all about contact balance. That's one thing he has not shown good here recently. Coach Lynn says Musgrave and Kraft at 12 will be deadly. That's the thing too with Musgrave. You're not putting him into run block, right? That's why I'm saying mix in some Fitzpatrick. And then what you can do with Musgrave is you can go to 12 personnel, trigger their base 4-3, and then put Musgrave in the slot, or hell, even line them up on the boundary and get one of those stack backers out there in space. Now you lighten the box a little bit. The thing about Detroit's defense, though, is they got these solid safeties in Joseph and Branch, whichever the one wants to rotate into the box, might as well be a linebacker. They're solid run defenders for sure. So
very true. But I trust Matt LaFleur to be able to scheme around that, though, too. Sometimes you can use that against them, right? And utilize your personnel.
Yeah, for sure, man. See if there's anything else in here. Here we go. William Herman said, and the Lions are starting Marcus Davenport, who has a combined 3 sacks over the last 3 years, and their second defensive tackles are run stuffers. A less than 100% Hutchinson is their only hope for a pass rush. So that's a great point, William. When you look at that, you go, Do you come
Yeah.
out and wing that thing around the yard? You know,
You're right.
Yeah.
Or how do they make up for the pass rush then, right? Do we see nickel fire, fire zone? Do they mix in, safety blitz? What are we looking at if they're only getting it from Hutchinson, right?
right. So let's look at the key matchups for a minute. Let's think for a second here, Tim. If we were to look at this and say, okay, who has the better head coach? Is it Matt LaFleur or Dan Campbell? Right? I think it's close. And if we were to look at the winning percentage, I don't know that right offhand. I could probably try to look it up. I'm going to call that a push right now. Now, I feel like Matt LaFleur has won more games than Dan Campbell. I could be wrong there. But I'm going to say it's close enough to say, okay, the head coaches are a push. All right, who has the better quarterback, Jordan Love or Jared Goff? Which would you take? You've got one game to win. Both quarterbacks are completely healthy, like this game going in. Who would you choose? I think most people would choose Jordan Love over Jared Goff. I do think it's close, though, because Jared Goff has played damn good football, man. If we were to switch over real quick, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because we're going to hit it tomorrow. You look at Jared Goff the last couple of years, he's been solid. Last 3 years, 72-4, 85-6, 78-8, right? That's solid play. That's solid play. So who would you choose, Tim? If you had to choose between Jared Goff, completely healthy, and Jordan Love, completely healthy, you got one game to win. I think I'm just going with Jordan Love. He's got more arm talent.
Jordan Alexander Love, 100% of the time.
All right, so if we're choosing Jordan Love over Jared Goff as a quarterback, and here's the thing too, when you look at the money paid, right, that would suggest he's the better quarterback too. The market suggested that Jordan Love is better than Jared Goff in that regard. So we'll say the coaches are pushes. We'll say Love is the slight advantage there, right? So now if we were to go compare pass rush, edge rushers, right? You look at edge rushers. Who has the better pass rush here, guys? Let's pull it up again. Our offense on the field. They've got Davenport, who's going to be starting at a 53.1, if that is the case. And it's not even going to pull up his career stuff. Like we said, 3 sacks in the last 3 years. And you got Hutchinson, arguably the best edge defender in the entire league, right? So those are your 2 edge rushers. And then you got Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons. Who's got the better pass rush in that? And here's the thing, too. You got to mix in defensive tackle as well. Devontae Wyatt is way better of a pass rusher than a DJ Reader, right? I mean, DJ Reader is obviously he's a little longer in the tooth. He's 31 years old. When you look at his pass rush grade last year, a 64.5. And like we said with Devontae Wyatt, he was in the 90th percentile in terms of pressure at defensive tackle and true pass sets. I don't even think it's close, Tim. Based off what we're looking at here, the Packers have the better pass rush.
Yeah, I would agree.
So if that's the case, you've got the edge in quarterback. You got the edge in pass rush. It's a push on obviously on coaches. Let's look at the stack backer position. Let's go back to nickel here. Who do you think has the better stack backers?
The Packers.
You got Jack 78.7 and Anzalone at a 66.9, right? If you go to the defensive side for the Packers, and in our nickel defense, you got Edgerrin Cooper 85.6 and Quay Walker 57.2.
Ignore that 57.2. PFF hates Quay. I fully anticipate him to grade out a little higher this year, I think.
Yeah, so for me personally, I think Anzalone is a better linebacker than Quay Walker. That's my personal opinion. I could be wrong. But the difference between how Edgerrin Cooper played and Jack Campbell played last year, both the PFF grade and the tape, I'm giving the edge there to the Packers. So when you're talking about positions of tier 2 importance, edge to the Packers there at last stack backer, right? So that's how I see that. Now let's go on to safety. You got Xavier McKinney, 84.7. You got Evan Williams, 72.3, right? If you go over to their side, you got Kirby Joseph, 90.7, and you got Branch at an 83.7. I've got to give them the edge at the safety room, not just because of PFF. I'm sorry. If I got one game to win, am I choosing Brian Branch or am I choosing Evan Williams? I'm going with Brian Branch over Evan Williams personally. So I would give the edge to the safety room there. What do you think about that, Tim? You disagree with that?
No, I think it's fair. I mean, it's the homer in me that can't stand either of these two guys.
I hate them both.
But, yeah, I can't stand them both. But I mean, there's validity to what you're saying. Clearly, the strongest point of this Detroit defense is the safety room.
Safety room, right.
It certainly makes it difficult. And you tend to look at the safety room and you think back end, right? Good luck airing it out. You got your safeties, but both Branch and Joseph can play down in the box, play aggressive, good tacklers. We know they're both absolute psychopath, borderline dirty players out there. So I think it's fair, but that being said, I don't think we're that much far behind them. I think it's fair to say you'd probably take a Brian Branch over an Evan Williams, but let's see how we feel, halfway through this year. I'm looking forward to seeing Evan Williams out there this year. I think he's as comfortable in this system as he's ever been right about now. And you got Xavier McKinney, coming back strong and healthy going into week 1. It's going to be fun to see these two guys out there, but I do think it's fair to give the edge to the Lions there.
Yeah, so far in what we broke down, head coach push, pass rush, Green Bay advantage, quarterback. We said Green Bay advantage, although I can understand if somebody says that's a push as well. I think Jared Goff's a good quarterback. Let's call it a push just for craps and giggles here. Head coach push, pass rush Green Bay, quarterback push, linebackers Green Bay, safeties Detroit. So we got the slight edge right now by one position. Now, a key thing with the pass rush is going to be obviously offensive line play, right? They've got solid tackle play. You got Decker at a 77.2. Is he healthy? I'm trying to think. Did we see?
I thought he was.
Yeah, I think he is too. Let's assume he is. If anybody hears that Decker is banged up, let us know in the chat. So when you're looking at the pass rush on the edges, Decker 77.2, Penei Sewell 89.6. When you go over to Green Bay's side, you've got Rasheed Walker 68.7 and Zach Tom 85.8. I got to give the advantage at the tackle position to the Detroit Lions in this case right here. So what do you think about that, Tim? Do you have enough confidence in Rasheed Walker to pass protect? Because again, that's his strength, right? Yeah. I mean, I can understand if somebody would say, no, I feel pretty good about this. Pass block grade at 80.1.
Yeah, I feel great about it, especially against Davenport, right? If they move Hutchinson over there, it could prove to be a handful for Sheed maybe, but for a 7th rounder, we've seen Sheed Walker step up time and time and again for us, especially when it comes to pass pro. The run blocking is the concern with Sheed. So, but I do think it's fair to maybe give Detroit a slight edge there with the tackles.
I would agree. So far you got head coach push, pass rush Green Bay, quarterback push, linebacker Green Bay, safety and offensive tackle, both Detroit there. So that's how that shakes out in terms of comparison. Again, what we're doing there, guys, is positions of tier 1 importance, quarterback and tackle play, right? And then, of course, tier 2, we're going center. Let's talk about center for a second because this is important. This is the final piece to the puzzle here in terms of the most important positions. Elton Jenkins at a 65.7 as a guard, so you'll probably see that increase into the 70s. Let's just keep it at 65.7 for the time being. If we were to switch over to the Lions, they're showing Glasgow as their starting center. Advantage Green Bay.
For sure.
And especially seeing that if you're worried, well, can Elton Jenkins handle their defensive tackle play? I have no problem thinking that Elton Jenkins could handle DJ Reader. There's no.
We talked about the possibility of Sean Ryan going just in case Big E can't go, and I feel the same way about Sean Ryan moving over there as well.
And there was rumors about Mullet Man here playing center too, but
look at that Kentucky waterfall flowing right there.
From what I've heard from Lions fans, he is not playing center. He being Tate Ratledge. So. Okay. And even if we did compare the two, I think anybody that's got 2 brain cells that rub together would say, hey, I would take Elton Jenkins at center over a rookie Tate Ratledge. So definitely give the advantage to Green Bay there at center. So, again, those are the most important positions. Head coach, obviously, it's tier 1. I mean, what are we even talking about here? Pass rush, tier 1, or edge defender. Quarterback, tier 1. Offensive tackle, tier 1. So when it comes to the tier 1 spots, Green Bay advantage 1, you got 2 pushes. And Detroit's got 1 advantage. So that comes out as a total push. When you move on to tier 2, stack backer, safety, and center, Green Bay's got the better stack backers. Green Bay's got the better center play. So they come out in the lead here. And it's crazy, too, because when you look at that, Tim, that's essentially a +1 advantage if you go through the most important positions in the breakdown. And that sounds like a line that looks very, very similar to this right here, my friend. Yep. 2.5-point favorites, which means they're a half-point underdog because they're the home team. That's as close as you can freaking get. So it's going to be a staple game, man. How could you think of a better way to kick off the season than Green Bay, Detroit at Lambeau Field, 3:25 kickoff. Jim Nance and Tony Romo on the call. Tony Romo might have a couple extra pops in, a couple Coronas in him. You know what I mean?
I don't know, Jim.
Got to get that sound bot for the especially if we win that ball game, we got to get the I don't know Jim for the post game for sure.
Love
You're
it.
right.
Love
So,
it.
any other thoughts here on this little preview here? Again, the goal tonight, guys, was to kind of break down the Packers' offense against Detroit's defense. Anything else you want to hit on, Tim?
No, I'm just looking forward to Sunday, man. And again, second night in a row. Shout out to the Lions fans invading our chat. Apparently, there's no Detroit Lions podcasts that are worth watching, so they decided to join us. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe while you're here. We appreciate the help with the good old algorithm, and we appreciate living rent free in your head. Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find a tweet, and I understand why they're in here because their podcast sucks so bad, dude. And there's one of them in particular. Let me see if I can just go Lions fans on my feed. This guy actually put a video out.
Was it this guy right here?
Yeah, it might have been him actually, Tim. He looks like he's ready to seduce somebody, doesn't he? This was actually from January 19th, if you want to know how great Lions fans are, right? It was a Woodward Sports Network. I better not play it, matter of fact. I got to be careful here. Let me do this. Give me a screen. Give me the Lions kicker, Tim. Let's protect yourself here a little bit, okay? Because we legally can play the audio. This was Lions fan. Guys, if there's language, I apologize. Be ready to earmuff it. I can't remember if they had
I remember this guy.
Yeah. So this was outside of the stadium when they lost in the playoffs, all right? Now, all I put was, damn, Lions fans lost that energy quick. Here was them when they lost in the playoffs last year.
Same old Lions.
Never forget. I mean, SOL. That's all it is. SOL. That's what we got. Forever.
Same old Lions. SOL. Now, there was another
playoffs.
I want to find, you can pull that down now, Tim. I want to find this clip. Gosh, where's it at? But one of the main podcasters with that Woodward Sports Network, he actually did a video he filmed from his car and was talking about how Packer fans were fair weather fans, and you guys are finally going to find out what it's like to have to lose, and we'll see if you continue to show up like we did. And that's when I ran the stats, I ran the numbers that, by the way, these knuckleheads were last, absolutely last in ticket sales by the end of Dan Campbell's first year. So spare me the whole, this is where we've been the whole time. Y'all are the most fair weather fans on the face of the freaking planet. And it's just going to be great when it all comes crashing down.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed
almost as bad as Bears
run.
fans at this point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah, this is perfect right here, man. How long before Lions fans are wearing paper bags again? They forget that. I got to find that clip for you guys. Because
and food for thought, we hang our division banners inside the Hudson Center. We don't hang them up in our stadium and stare at them all day. They just go up in the practice facility,
Put them in storage. That's what we
exactly.
do. Right? We put them back in storage. So this was another thing that popped up from last year as well. If I can find it. Oh yeah, this was it right here. So this guy Skeeter, he just stayed on my feed last year, kept replying to my tweets. So I finally just
Skeeter?
So this is it right here. That's him. Stick Radio is the guy I was talking about. At Stick Radio, okay? And look, dude, get over the lines. It's getting creepy, right? Like they make it sound as if they never talk about the Packers. So I just put a little clip together. Enjoy this, right? Look how many times this guy mentions the Packers. I just literally screen record X and scroll down Stick Radio's Twitter feed. Check this out, Tim. I had to put the sound effect in. You see, I'm not jumping to tweets. I'm just scrolling.
It's
every single tweet is about the Packers, you know? So again, coming here acting like y'all living rent free in Packer. And again, you're hanging out. Rock Howard been in here the whole night. Appreciate it. Hit that like button on the way out, bub. He been in here all night long, hanging out on the Packers stream.
Yeah, your hatred for the Packers clearly outweighs your love for your own team. You're obsessed with us.
But when you look at that team and the history, Tim, can you blame them? Like
No,
they,
I can't, honestly.
they have not won. They've never won a Lombard. They've never won an NFC championship.
Correct.
Somebody help me in the chat real quick. When were the Detroit Lions founded? When was their team created? I got to know. And hang around, Rock Howard. Hang around in here for us, buddy.
Not too far after we were, correct?
Got to know,
late
man.
20s, early 30s, something like that.
Was it really that far? Whoa, I didn't know
think,
that. I
don't
would have
quote
thought
me
like
on that.
50s or something, just because they've never been relevant, right? So we got to see here. 1929, Drew D.
28.
Holy cow! Now
Joined the
won,
NFL in 1930.
they've won championships, though, right? They just never won a Super Bowl. Drew D, help me out. When was the last time they won a championship? When was the last time the Detroit Lions won a championship? I got to know here. I got to know because they were founded in 1929, right? Somebody help me here. Please tell me they have it. 1957, is that right? Ed Madden is what he said?
I think they had an NFL championship in
go.
1935.
So you haven't won a championship. Forget the Super Bowl, okay? You're not even we can't even talk about it. You never won a damn Super Bowl. You haven't won an NFL championship since 1957. I'm going to do the math because I don't want to misrepresent this, okay? We're going to go 2025 minus 1957. Guys, 68 years. Is this thing on? 68 years since you've won a champion. Where's he at? Is he still in here? Did he leave? Okay, here we go. There. Oh, yeah. Look, you guys are almost as bad as Bears fans going back to the past. Gee, you don't want to talk about win? Wait, we don't want to talk about championships? What are we doing?
And you Lions fans only want to go back to the past 2.5 years when you talk about your football team.
Tim, listen to me. 68 years since they've won a championship.
Oh, we're going to give him some.
I believe I would stop letting my mouth write checks that my ass can't cash.
You do that, you're going to get your ass kicked in that.
It's unbelievable. 68 years. Tim, you understand, man? 68 years.
It's a long time.
That's unbelievable, dude. That's 3 more than
65%.
65%. That's what How do you listen? I respect and understand somebody rooting for their team, even though they suck in the entire history of the National Football League. But how do you have the lack of awareness to go onto other fan bases' podcasts and talk crap when you haven't won a championship in 68 years? Rock Howard, he just wants to talk about Sunday now. Funny.
Let's talk about this Sunday. What are the excuses going to be when you lose again? There will be no excuses. We will not lose. You're going to catch that L, put it on the airplane, fly back home to your crap city with that L week 1.
Here's the thing, too, Rock. I look at it different than Tim. He's got his own opinion. We may lose this game. And if we lose, this will be another banner for the Detroit Lions. You understand?
Hang it up there with the divisionals.
Rock, I need to know. Help me out here, man. Be honest, too, okay? Be honest. We're friends here, right? You've been in here all night. Surely you think of us as friends. You've been hanging out the whole time. Oh, yeah, that's right. Cody Newman said the only team go 0-16, too, right? No, sorry. How old are you, Rock? Rock Howard, how old are you right now, sir? I got to know this, Tim. I got to know. How old are you, Rock?
I bet you I got belts older than him.
I got to know. I got to know how old you are, Rock. Be honest, man. And don't be ashamed either. We're going to wait on it here, okay?
Hold on. We got another Lions fan in here. This is great, though. Here we go. Where's Joe? Let's put Joe up here.
Jake O said 15.
Joe said, I'm a diehard Lions fan, born and raised in Detroit. Bleed the Honolulu Blue. One pride. And y'all are wrong. The Lions were founded in 2022.
Comment of the night.
Oh, you heard it from a fan right here. Thanks, Joe.
Send him the prize.
Shout out to the D. I love it.
He said he's between 40 and 50. Okay. So, Rock, do you understand that let's just say it's 50 to make it sound not as bad. It was 18 years before you were born that the Lions won a championship. Is that right, Tim? Am I thinking right? My math right there? Or did I get that wrong? No, I'm off on that. Wait, how long does he have to wait before he catches up with the Packers championships? Think about that. Super Bowl wins, we got 4, right?
A long time.
I mean, How many
Yeah,
Super? We got,
4 Super Bowls, 13 World Championships.
so at this pace, Rock, you're going to have to be 237 years old to catch the Packers in Lombardi's. Think about that. I'm sorry, man. Listen, I believe in modern medicine. Don't think you're going to make the cut for that one, my man. Probably not going to happen. So that's the bad news. But yeah,
All good. We
Tim,
respect
anything
Barry Sanders though, right? We'll always have the Barry Sanders days.
man, it's wild. There's almost a certain level of respect you got to have for a person that they don't have enough shame to talk crap, and you haven't won a championship in 68 years.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
All right, that's it. We're out of here. I'm going to get divorced if I don't end this thing soon. That was my favorite part of the show. That was
me
really
too.
enjoyable. We learned something. I had no idea it was that
Thanks
bad.
for the views, Detroit. We appreciate it.
Seriously, I didn't know it was that bad. I knew it was bad, but I didn't know it was that bad. 68 years? Jeez.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll happen this year, man. If it doesn't happen for the Packers, I kind of hope it does happen for you, right? Because, I mean, nobody should have to go the span of their entire life and not see their favorite NFL team win a championship. That's rough.
I mean,
So-
man, talk to Vikings fans too. Good Lord.
Woo. Yeah. All right. That's it, guys. We're out of here. Thank y'all so much. Special shout out. Hardy the Prophet, been a member for 11 months. Jacob Blum with the 2 super chats. And then, of course, William Henderson, hell of a football player. William Herman with the super chat as well. Really appreciate everybody. Thank y'all in advance for the patience. Like I said, tomorrow got to travel good little distance to go to a funeral of a family member, unfortunately. So probably no show tomorrow. If I can make it back in time, I'll try to do something. Don't look good right now, but we'll definitely be back on Wednesday for PTA Live. And who knows, maybe an early afternoon show as well. But really, really appreciate everybody blowing the channel up. I mean, it's going wild. And we get the same regulars in here all the time. And I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, man. Y'all are the reason that we've gotten to this point. We just cracked 5,800 subs here on the channel. And the views are through the roof, 320,000 views on the channel in the last 28 days. If half of those people just hit sub, I mean, we would blow past 20,000 subs in a heartbeat. So really, really appreciate everybody. The channel's gotten to this point from the regulars in the chat. You guys are the ones that keep the algorithm cranking, just in here talking Packers with us on the daily. And believe it or not, the Lions fans too. So thank you all for helping us tonight as well. So Tim, appreciate your time, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Clay.
All right, man. We'll see y'all Wednesday, maybe tomorrow night, but plan on Wednesday. Y'all take the night off from this redneck accent. We appreciate y'all. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.